Today I'm going to show you how to make one of these snowflake flip cards, or at least the parts that I find are a little trickier than others. This particular card is made with the Snowflake's card Thinlit dies that are in the Holiday 2014 catalog, and they'll be available till January 5th. When I made this, I did a little trick where you make a flap that flips over so you have a place to write inside. And then there's a little tricky part about getting this snowflake to layer over the part that flips. And so I'm going to show you how to do that too. First thing we're going to do is grab our scoreboard. And I have all the pieces right here before I do that part. And this is the card base. These are the two, this is for the part of the card that folds over, and this is the inside of that card part. And then this is for the snowflake. This is for the little snowflake that goes on top, and this is for the tinier snowflake that goes on top of that. This is for the banner and for the word joy, and this is for the inside parts, which when I did these in multiples I left out and I just stamped on this one, but you can do whichever you prefer. Alright, I'm going to move these to one side. And I'm going to grab my scoreboard. And it's important to cut this a little smaller than 5.5. Instead, you want to cut it at 5 7/16 so that it fits in the die when you're running it through. And I'm going to score right there at 5 7/8. This makes the flap that folds in. After that, I'm going to get my big shot. And I'm using the magnetic platform on the big shot. And here are the pieces for the die again. I'm going to need the frame. And I'm also going to need the word joy. And the snowflake. And the smaller snowflake. And the little banner piece. Okay, first I'm going to lay the die down. What I want to do is slip the cardstock in so that the part with the flap goes underneath the edge of the die. This is the cutting edge. The cardstock is underneath that. And when I flip this over, the edge of the leading edge should be right against the part that cuts. And the part that has a score line is lying on top of the die itself, like this. So I'm going to center this so that I can cut it. I'll put my other plate on top. I'm using the magnetic platform because I just love it. Alright. And when I pull this up, has a tendency to stick in the plate. You have to kind of pry it out. And then you need to really punch this part out. And the back part too. Once those parts come out, you have your card base. And then the inside fold, that just folds over. This is a mountain fold. The next fold is a valley fold. So just like that, it flips. Alright, now I'm going to show you how to cut the snowflake. So for that, I need my Big Shot back, and my magnetic platform, and a plate. Oops, get out of here. Alright. Alright, I'm going to take this square piece of Whisper White, I'm going to lay it over where the snowflake is. And I'm going to go ahead and run this through. As you can see, let's pop this out. Okay, so this is partially cut through. So what I like to do is cut away this part so I can see what I'm doing. And I need to lay this back in the die, but I'm pointing it to the side. This is the way it was in before, and I'm just turning it 1/4 turn to the left so that it will get cut the rest of the way. So I'll finish my sandwich here. And cut this . And pull this out. And as you can see, I now have a snowflake that I can layer right on top. Okay, there's another trick to doing this card. For cutting the smaller pieces that are intricate, I'm going to get my silver piece for the word joy. I'm getting my silver piece for the snowflake, the Lost Lagoon piece for the smaller snowflake, and then this piece for the banner. And what I'm going to do for the more intricate pieces is I'm going to put a piece of wax paper over the top. I don't want any hanging off the edge there. I don't need to do that for this banner because it is not a complicated piece and it won't be hard to get it out of the die after it's cut. But these pieces are kind of hard. There's little holes that help you poke them out, but even with the holes it can be difficult to get those pieces out. So I find that this wax paper trick works very well for getting those out. And I'm just going to lay this back on top and crank it through. Alright. Get out. Okay, so when I take these off, this one comes right out very easily. This one, the smaller one, tends to pop off pretty easy. And then you have this piece with the die cut with a piece of wax paper on top, and you can just rub it between your thumb and your finger and it just comes right off. These are a little bit more difficult to do, but not very hard with this wax paper trick. So I'll get rid of all of the negative parts and the extra wax paper. And what I like to do is use a stylus like you would use with a old kind of brass template that we used to use, or the one from your scoreboard will work, and just push the center of this. You can push the center right out, and the rest of it just pulls right out. Rub it between your finger and your thumb, and the wax paper comes right off, and you have this beautiful snowflake. And the Joy one is a little more hard because the holes are smaller. So I usually poke out the negative spots, and then I just give a little push in one spot and it'll come out. And then you probably just have to go and clean the wax paper out of your die, which, you just kind of do that. Comes out. Clean the excess paper out of the open spots in the E and the Y and the J. And that is that. Alright. Okay, now we come to a few stamping tricks for this card. I find that it's easier to stamp this snowflake. This snowflake, unlike a standard one that fits in a die, where you stamp first and then die cut. This one you have to do it the other way. But because this is a clear polymer stamp, which is the Letterpress Winter, that's also available till July 5th. This is a polymer set, and it's absolutely crystal clear, so it's easy to stamp with. The easiest way to get this in the right spot is to do it on a dark background so that you can see, and I can go right down, and when I stamp that way, it's perfect, as you can see. So that's the advantage that the polymer stamps give you. Okay, another thing that we need to do, and at this point I will get my grid paper, so we need to stamp along the edge of this with the small square stamp that is in that set. And there's a little trick to doing that so that you don't get ink where you don't want it to, which is, well, it wouldn't really, yeah, it wouldn't matter because this is actually the back of the snowflake. So what I do is take a piece of typing paper and I slip it under that to mask off this. And then I just grab that stamp and I start up here in the corner. I can just stamp all along here. If it doesn't quite fit in on the end, that's okay. Just take it down to the edge and stamp off the edge. And that way this part does not get inky, which, since it's the back, you don't really want it to. Alright, after that, you would just layer this on top of here. Layer your silver up on top of that. And I use glue dots to attach these. Layer your little square snowflake, and I put a rhinestone there. I put two little rhinestones here. The inside pieces, this goes here. The striped piece goes here, and so it folds in. For this part, I used the this stamp, which is more like another snowflake. I'm going to get rid of this here. And then to cut this out, which I'm not going to do right now, I used from the floral frames, the second die up fits right around there and cuts it out beautifully. And then I used a piece of soft sky to make the little spot piece in here, and I used the little die embosslet little pieces, and it's this little medallion here to make the center. Put another rhinestone right there, stamped my greeting below, which is from the Good Greetings set. And then this is the little banner with the joy on top. This piece, this snowflake, the white are all sponged with soft sky, as well as this piece here. And then around the card edge I also sponged with Lost Lagoon, and I think it gives it a little bit of a glow. And that, this piece also is sponged and doodled with a Lost Lagoon marker around the edge. And then applied to that. And that is how you make the Snowflake flip card. Thank you.